Welcome to River City Folk. I'm your host, Tom May. My guest this week, originally from Seattle, these days from Evanston, Illinois, is Kate Eggleston with her songs about relationships and home. Thanks for joining us.
Would you go, if you could, back over years long past to a house that stood by gray water on green grass, and the age you are, your folks were then, the kitchen table was level with your chin. If someone gave you the power, would you go home? Would you take, if you could, a single hour or day from the hard to the good? What do you think you'd say? The bedtime book, the birthday cake, your mother's gift, your dad's mistake. If someone gave you the power, would you go home? Would you find, if you could, who might have dropped the ball? Was it blows or words? And who let the first one fall? If you had the chance to get revenge, would you take the sword or make amends? If someone gave you the power, if someone gave you the power, would you go home? Home. Home.
Kate Eggleston, good to see you again and good to hear that song. I love that tune you started the show with today, and I've actually had discussions with some other songwriters that I know about that tune, because I think the listener actually has to make a choice with that song of yours, whether they would go home or whether they would not go back to being 12 years old again. A brilliant, brilliant tune.
Thank you very much. That was the question, and what motivation would be behind it. You know, do you want to go back and figure out where a particular family argument started, or see what your mother looked like when she was your age, or your father? And I don't know. My answer changes every day. I don't know what I do.
Well, you do come from an interesting background in that your mother was involved with music and your father was an artist.
Well, Dad was the art director for the Gumby show, and he invented Pokey, and my mother was the first voice of Gumby for the first few episodes and wrote some of the episodes after that. And it's a goofy house.
I can imagine.
Yeah, all of them, and my brother and I, we grew up in a goofy house.
And traditional music, that has been around for ages, is very, very much a part of your background as well.
Yeah. When I was 4 years old, I first heard the Sky Boat song, and I remember a visceral response to that. I remember the first time I heard bagpipes, and I think I felt like I wanted to go fight somebody, and I was only 4 years old. I mean, it's most people's first reaction to hearing bagpipes, I don't know whether it means you want to go fight or you want to cry and run, but I've always loved it, Scottish music particularly.
Well, right now, Kate, you're going to give us a song about a bit lighter subject.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. It's, I guess I'll just play it. It's called Trouble, Oh Boy. Whoa. in black, eyes of a hunter, body relaxed. You look so hungry, leaning on the bar, the kind of guy my mother said to watch out for. You look like trouble. Oh boy. With so much heat and so much wine, we could light your candle and burn all night, and it'd be you and me, baby, the pirate and the punk. If I were just a little younger or a lot more drunk, and there'd be trouble. Oh boy. But I've been here before, I've done my time. I've got your number, but you can't have mine. Still you said something stirring in back of my dreams. Now go on and talk to that redhead in green, 'cause she looks like trouble. Trouble, trouble. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Kat, I've been in a few places like the one you just described late at night before.
Oh, yeah, obviously so have I. I mean, that guy is archetypal, the sexy bad guy, that kind of thing. I wish I had read Wuthering Heights when I was in my 20s, when Heathcliff was still sexy. He's not anymore.
Kat, I think one of the things that folk music does best is approach thoughtful, sometimes troubling subjects that we don't often have a chance to really reflect upon, and that's what this next song of yours does.
Mm-hmm. And this is a song about anger, uncontrolled anger, and what happens to you as a sort of a possession thing. The guy that told me this story, the guy that I wrote it about, actually said that he felt like he was splitting. When anger got to a certain point, he felt like he had split, and he was floating up by the ceiling over the guy that looked just like him, that was doing these horrible things. In that case, anger is your enemy, and then the woman in the song actually has to bring it into herself in order to break the spell, and this is what happened. Oh, the wind blew hot and hard from an angry sea, and my lover had a house of cards where he kept his love for me. And I stayed safe and sound till the red was in his eyes. But my paper house fell to the ground when that angry wind would rise in fury. Oh, fury. My lover was two men, the damned and the blessed, a dozen roses in his hand and fire in his fist. He said he floated weightless above his evil twin, who put the rips in my blue dress and purple on my skin in fury. Oh, fury. So I dug a grave in self-defense, and I threw a few things in, the bones of my innocence and my memories of him. And long nights I lie single in my bed, with red, red lights behind my eyes and shouting in my head, fury. around my door and mutters through my dreams, but it can't break in by force through solid wooden beams. It was my lover's parting gift, a whirlwind in a stone that burned his letters, broke his spell, and froze my bones. Oh, fury. Oh, fury.
Kat, that was a very powerful piece of music that you just played for us. The next piece of music I know that you're going to play right now is a song that I've always enjoyed so much. I first heard this song on a collection of songs called American Impressionist Songwriters on the Waterbug label, which is a wonderful, great profiles of people like yourself, singer-songwriters from around the United States. And Waterbug has been a company that's promoted people like ourselves throughout the U.S. on their label.
Yeah, it's my husband's label, Andrew Calhoun, and he put it together. Well, he put the Impressionist album out first, and it was people that, a large part of people that we met at Kerrville at the Songwriter Festival down there. Of course, he and I met down there too, and it's it's a special spot and so on. But songwriters come there from all over the country, as you know. I even saw you there not too long ago. Yeah, so it's a good thing.
And the label has been doing well, and there's been a real positive response to these songs on that CD?
Yeah, there have. There have been some of them picked out. Everybody seems to have a different favorite. They're very, very distinct in their styles. The thing that's coherent about it is that these are basically poets who write songs, as opposed to hook songs and so on and so forth.
And speaking of poetry, poetry has been a very important influence in your songwriting. Your songwriting is very literary, the way it works and the way you construct your tunes.
I'm not sure. I really have no concept of what came first necessarily. I remember the last time we talked on the radio, we were talking about major influences, and I said that Peter S. Beagle was my favorite writer, and he's really the person that I tried to emulate. He's the guy who wrote The Last Unicorn and that sort of thing. I read it when I was 13. I tried to emulate that style of writing for a long time. He's a friend of mine now.
Well, Kat, I'm looking forward to hearing this next tune again. It's one of my favorites, and I know it's meant a lot to many, many people, a song called Paper Boats.
Thank you very much. I would sit by the river in the early afternoons, making boats out of paper filled with summer blues. Chase them for hours in the shadow and the sun, paper boats filled with flowers when I was very young. Alone by the water, I'd fill them full of dreams to sail with the blossoms at the mercy of the streams. How long they would travel, how far, how fast, didn't seem to matter. They were never meant to last. How can I tell you? It's still true at the falling through of all my dreams and hopes. I remember the river and paper boats. I could lie at your side, watching you sleep in a room soft with dreaming, heavy with heat. I'll hold you for hours while you drift away to where no amount of wishing can make you stay. How can I tell you it's still true? I can love what we once were and let you go. From years of practice making paper boats.
Kat, that's a beautiful image in that song, Paper Boats.
Thanks.
You're going to play a song right now for us about a problem that most of us have had at one time or another, to some degree or another.
Depression. I actually haven't until this past winter. This is kind of a construct of a phone call that I had once. It's called No Laughing Matter. You take the well, I'll take the pump. You take the pill, I'll make the jump. I'll see you on the other side. We're all going down. I hear you calling through the rain and the blue. You got troubles, I've got troubles too. I'll see you on the other side. We're all going down. Tell me you're falling, I'll ask you why. Tell me it's nothing, and I'll say you lie, and I'll see you on the other side. We're all going down. She seemed so together, but didn't you hear? That one never made it through the winter last year. But I'll see you, I'll see you. And you can joke till your sun goes down, but it's no laughing matter when you can't get out. I'll see you. When all this is over, I promise to call. You can tell me next spring how you took the fall, and I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you. I'll see you on the other side. We're all going down.
Kat, do you still play the hammered dulcimer at all? I know for a long time you performed with groups in the Seattle area and also taught people how to play that instrument.
Yeah, I still play it. I was taught by my ex-husband. He played music on the ferry boats in Seattle, and so did I. And we both played. I still play it. I love to play it. It's very therapeutic to actually beat on something that doesn't get hurt.
Well, you have moved from Seattle to Chicago, and the music scenes are, I know, very different in both of those places. Has the transition been an easy one for you from the Victory folk and jazz review folks out in Seattle to the Chicago scene?
It wasn't. Yes and no. I mean, it depends. Victory is a very supportive thing, as you know. But I love Chicago. Hate the weather. But I love Chicago. I love the music there, the variety of music there, the cultural differences there, and also the fact that it's much easier to travel from Chicago than it is from the upper left-hand corner. And, oh man, if you want to tour in Florida from Seattle, you got some serious thinking to do.
That's very true.
But the people in Chicago are great for that.
I enjoy Chicago very much myself, and of course, it's just a close 8-hour drive from Omaha, so it's been wonderful having you here today.
Thank you.
Down from the Windy City to play a few tunes for us. You still do a lot of traditional music. I know you incorporate traditional music into your shows, and we're going to do a traditional piece of music right now. What's this last piece of music that we're both going to play on here?
This is Stephen Foster's song, Hard Times Come Again No More. I learned it from Brian Bowers. I love this song.
And I'd like you to join us on this song. We're going to play it in the ever-popular key of B-flat. Help us out.
Let us pause in life's pleasures and count its many tears as we all sup sorrow with the poor. It's a song that will linger forever in our ears. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis a song, a sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. There's a pale, drooping maiden who toils her life away with a worn heart whose better days are o'er. Though her voice should be merry, 'tis sighing all the day. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis a song, a sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis a sigh that is wafted across a troubled wave. 'Tis a wail that is heard upon the shore. 'Tis a dirge that is murmured around a lowly grave. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis a song, a sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. As we seek mirth and beauty and music bright and gay, there are frail forms fainting at the door. silent, their pleading looks will say, oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis a song, a sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Oh, hard times come again no more.
Kat Eggleston, thank you very much for coming to Omaha and playing some of your songs for us today.
Thank you very much, Tom. It's really been an honor to do this.
Thank you for joining us on River City Folk and helping us out on that Stephen Foster song, Hard Times Come Again No More. I'm your host, Tom May, and I hope you'll join me again next week for River City Folk.